Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to continue with the player over here. So go ahead and click that player sprite, right? And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create this new block just to like help simplify resetting the player. So go down to My Blocks and then click Make a New Block. Yeah. And then click Reset, or sorry, type in Reset Player and click Run Without Screen Refresh. And that's it. Just click, after that, just click OK.
Delete the other Zoom.
All right. So yeah, so we just started, and all we're
Um,
doing right now
now,
is
now you are sitting on my spot.
we're in the
You're an
player
awesome
sprite.
now. I think it's a little
We're,
better. Wait, you
we're in
just
the player sprite, and then
I
we're
don't know.
clicking make a new block, and then we're naming it reset player,
Let me
and then
grab
clicking the
my
run
phone.
without screen refresh. Okay. So once you have that, yeah, just click OK.
But that
And
might
then what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of disconnect the start game, and then we're gonna move the set camera X and set camera Y to the reset player, and then we're gonna move reset player to where they just were. So this effectively does the same thing, right? It calls that reset player, and it still does the same thing.
know what? Wait on you. Why are you doing that to me? Because, yeah. I'm just putting your phone. Wait, no, you're under now. Yeah, you're under. You need to hold your breath. You need to hold your breath.
Okay. And then after, we're going to create two new variables. So let's go to variables. We're going to make the first variable, we're just going to make it X, but then make sure you click for this sprite only. Make sure you click for this sprite only. That's really important. Really, really important. Because we're going to copy this over to other sprites in the future potentially. So just make sure it's for this sprite only. Once you have that, just click OK. And then make another new variable, call it Y, and also do for this sprite only. For this sprite only. Make sure you click that for this sprite only. And yeah, just call it Y. So then we can click OK after that. Okay. Once you have these two, let's just set them to both to 0 at the very beginning here. So set X and set Y, and let's just set them both to 0. And now, actually, that I think about it, we don't 0, 0 is going to be down here, so we want it to move somewhere up here a bit. So let's make it like 200 and like what 60, 260. Those are the two values we can give it. All right, once we have that, let's go to my blocks and then let's drag on a move player camera right at the reset player. So make sure the camera is in the right place, right? Then we can move this on to the side of it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go grab a broadcast, I mean, and then we're going to call it move player. So that's going to be our new broadcast message. So that we're going to move that before the position blocks in the forever loop. So then we can first move the player, then we can position the blocks, then we move the player camera. So we can do it in this order. You have to do it in this order. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to create two extra variables because right now we have x and y, but we want to control how fast the player is moving. So we're going to create speed x and speed y, but make sure they're for this sprite only. That's important, for this sprite only. For this sprite only. And then after you're done with speed x, go ahead and create speed y and also make it for this sprite only, just like the other ones. Okay, let's continue with this. So we're gonna drag out a when I receive that new one we created, which is move player. Let's put it just below there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the speed x, and we're gonna use this little trick here. So set speed x, and then grab out a set speed y as well. Grab out both of these. And then we're gonna do it based off of the keys pressed. Now, we're doing this because for geometry, for Geometry Dash, for now we're going to make it so you can control the character, so that it's easier to make. But then later on, we can make it so you can't actually uh, move the player around up, left, and right. You can only jump. But for now, we can make it control all directions, which makes it easier to deal with right now as we figure everything. Okay, so then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to control the speed. So let's do a multiply symbol in both of these. And then we're going to use a trick with like true and false booleans. So we're going to drag out the minus symbol and put it in the second slot. So let me zoom in. So this multiply symbol is going to be the speed multiplier. So let's do it like 5 for now. And then the other part is going to be the actual keys. So let's just do left and right for speed X. So in the first spot, put key right arrow pressed, and then in the second spot, put key left arrow pressed. Now, what this does is if you're just clicking one of the keys, what will happen is that um, it will become true, which means it will become 1. Therefore, your speed will go up to 5. So just like that. And then the second one, on the bottom, we're going to do up and down. So we're going to do key up arrow pressed minus key down arrow pressed. And then once you do this, why don't you click the up arrow and down arrow and left and right arrow keys a bit, and then watch those variables change over here. So like if I click like left, then it should be -5 for speed x. And if I click right, it should be +5 for speed x. And for speed y, if I click up, it should be +5. And then down, it should be -5. So it should change according to what button you press. Okay. And then now that we have the speed x right, now we got to actually change our y and x position because speed x doesn't do anything unless we change the actual x and y. So not set. Let's do change, not camera x, but x. And then let's change y
Wait,
as
can you
well.
wait a second?
Yeah, of course. I'm just gonna finish this real quickly, okay? Just add speed x here and then speed y here. And that's it. Okay, now we're gonna do the final fun part that makes everything work. We're gonna actually change the X position of the player. So first, let's do move player camera just to make sure the camera moves after we move. And then let's do a go to block. So go to motion and drag out a go to X, Y block. In here, we're going to have two minus signs for both of them. The first one is going to be X minus camera X. And the second one, you can probably guess, right? Y minus camera Y. And then now, if everything is working, as you can see on my screen, your player should be able to move around properly based on what arrow key you press. But the problem right now is that our camera doesn't move with us. So if we move off screen, we can't really see our player, right? It just gets stuck on the wall. So let's fix that. Let's go to move player camera. And then we're going to do a trick. We're going to change camera X and change camera Y by something. Let me just move this outside so we can easily see this.
Is our thing supposed to move right now?
Yeah. If you press the arrow keys, it should move, right? Is it moving
Uh,
for you?
um, no.
Like if you press the arrow keys,
Which arrow keys?
the one you chose for over here, where we place like you see those ones? Right arrow, left arrow, up arrow, down arrow on your computer.
Yeah, no. It is not moving.
Hmm. Did you call the actual move player in the start game?
Huh?
Did you put?
Yes.
Hmm. Do you have move player camera here and then go to XY here?
Yeah.
You want to share your screen real quick so I can see what's going on?
Okay. Uh,
Okay. Hmm. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Um. Okay. Just click the flag real quick. Hello?
what?
Can you click the flag, please?
Oh, um, and it's not moving, even if I'm
Wait.
clicking the keys.
Wait, are your blocks even in the right position?
Like, no.
Wait, what the heck? Let me see. Can you go to your blocks sprite real quick? Uh, okay. How about your level generator sprite?
Okay.
Okay. Was this working last time?
Yes.
This is so strange. Maybe save it and then reload the entire project. Try that out. Sometimes it's always like a just a scratch issue. Okay. And just click the flag again to test it out.
Um, no, I'm
Hmm.
still not moving.
Uh, You go to the level generator sprite real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure. The code is really complicated. So is it okay if you just remix my project so you can get my current code? Is that fine with you?
Wait, like, what am I supposed to do now?
Is it okay if I just give you my code and then you remix it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean by remix?
So you'll click a button. Basically, it lets you copy it. So go ahead and click that link in the chat. Just for Jasmine, by the way. And then once you're there, you'll see my project, right? And then just go ahead and click the remix button, and then you'll have my code. So you can continue with my code, which should be like almost the exact same thing as your code. Actually, okay. Did you remix it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see my code?
Wait.
Do you see like my and does it work?
Well, wait. I'm using yours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, but can you see like what I'm doing? Like, will you see where I'm moving and stuff?
Oh no, you're basically creating a copy of mine.
Wait a minute. So do
Yeah.
I X out of my original one?
Sure. We're just
Okay.
continuing with my code since we should have like almost the exact same thing.
Okay.
Okay. So now, everyone, let's continue with what we were doing in the player sprite, with the change camera right over here. So this trick we're going to do is going to be called like smooth camera movement. So we're going to drag a divide by symbol into both of them, and then a minus symbol into the first slots of both of them, which I kind of messed up here. The first slots. It's going to be something minus something divided by something.
That
In
new?
here, sorry, what?
Is that new?
Like, yeah, like, sorry, what do you mean?
Was that new? The one that you just did?
Yeah, this is new for everyone. I mean, the two blocks should already be there, but you need to fill it with the green bubbles with the operators, the adding, then subtracting and division. Do you have that?
Yeah. I just need to add
Okay.
the operators.
Okay, good. And then the trick we're going to do here is we're going to take the difference between the camera and the current position. So that's how much the camera has to move, right? So we're going to do x minus camera x, and then we're going to divide it by like a factor to control how quickly the camera moves. So if we divide by 5, it kind of moves 5 times slower. And it smoothly glides because it depends on the current like difference. So we're going to do the similar thing for y and camera y. So do y minus camera y divided by 5. It's just these two bits code. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it to the move player camera code on the very top. So now, when you move around, the camera should move with your character. So that means you're able to explore this infinite world now. Well, not infinite, but this gigantic Geometry Dash world now. If it works, it should be pretty cool. And then if we wanted to make it even more smoother, we can change the value 5 to like value 10 or something. Let's see, 10. If we make it 10, yeah. See? The camera kind of catches up to the player movement so that it seems a lot more smooth. It's pretty cool, right?
Wait, where'd you put the thing?
Uh, where did I put the what? Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Wait.
Oh yeah, on the very top. and then test it out. When you test it out, just move your character around using the arrow keys,
What?
and then the camera should follow your character. So it should seem like you're in this world walking in it, right? It should
Yeah,
actually
but
work.
I don't really stop at the very end.
You don't really stop at the very end?
I can't. I don't stop at the end.
Like, sorry, what does that mean?
Like when I go to the, can you like travel side to side?
Like, yeah, like you should be able to travel left and right, right?
Yeah. Can you go all the way to the end to the
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why we have a border here. That's normal. Do you see this entire border? That prevents us from going
No, no,
outside
no.
the left side.
When I go to the right, I can't touch the border. I stop halfway to the border.
Oh, oh, wait. But does it look like mine?
Like, can you just keep going to the right?
Yeah, of course. Oh, you mean there's a border on the right as well? Or
Is, oh wait, do you not have a border on the right?
you do have a border on the right? Well, I
Yeah.
do have a border on the right eventually when you get to the very end.
Oh yeah, well I can't touch that border on the right. I stop I stop on the edge of the screen, like right there. Yeah, I stop like right there.
Oh,
So
that's
I can
normal. Do you see the background moving? What's happening is the player is actually moving, but the camera is following the player, so relatively it doesn't look like the player is moving that much. Like, does that make sense? Like it's like Geometry Dash, right? Your player technically does not really move on the screen, but the background moves, kind of giving the illusion that the player is
but like
moving.
I know, but I can't get to the border.
Wait, show me your screen again.
So like can't move anymore. That's the furthest I can go. I can't get to that border right.
Oh,
So like I go there and I go to the right and I can't move anymore.
oh, that's strange.
Just stop there.
Wait, click the flag again.
But so like I can go to this part. I can go there.
Oh, I think you made the movement.
But then when I go back over, oh, if I go back over there, I just like cannot.
Wait a second. What's happening here? Why is your character on the very edge here? What the heck?
And now I just
Uh,
can't go right anymore.
oh, wait. I think I know the issue. You have an issue with how you did the divide thing. So what you did here was you did the minus on the outside and then the divide in the inside. But what we actually want is the divide on the outside and the minus in the inside. Does that make sense? That's the order of operations matter a lot here.
So
You
like
see that?
that.
This one's correct. The one you used is like this, which
Wait,
is,
is it like this?
let me see. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So yeah, you saw you moved around pretty well. It's pretty good. Yeah. See, the order of operations matters quite a lot. So that's pretty cool, right? Now you can
Oh
actually move
wait,
the
is
player.
there like no border though?
There is a border, but we can make it so that there's no border, or at least the border is very far away. All we gotta do is go to the level generator,
Oh,
and then we
oh,
change this value 100, the grid width 100 to like 1,000 or something. And then we can have like a border that's 1,000 blocks away.
okay.
But let's just keep it at 100 for now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's keep it at 100 for now. Okay. Another thing we gotta consider now is like the we gotta go to the player sprite, right? And then one oversight I had last time, I think, was, wait, I'm thinking, does this work eventually? I think the sprite being in the center works. I was thinking about moving it up a bit, but no, that works perfectly fine. Okay, wonderful. Now let's go. Let's stay here, and now let's go below. Or let me delete this code first. But let's go down here below the move player. When I receive move player still in the player sprite. And now we need to get a new block, and then let's name it like let's name it get block like at or get block and then slash slash and then X and then add an input and name it X and then add a label, name it Y and add an input, name it Y. So just like this. And I don't think we really need to run it. Let's run it with screen and fresh. And make sure it's a circle input.
Wait, and then did you add a text?
Yeah. So this is the circle input for this one, and then for that one. And then the text input is
there
the
we go.
box. And
Okay,
then
got
that
it. And
one.
then do we do okay after that?
Make sure you have run without screen refresh down here. And then
Yeah.
after you're done, you can click OK. Okay. Click OK. Let's drag this new heading block below. And then we're gonna get let's see. We're gonna create a new variable block like a grid X, and let's make it for this sprite only. For this sprite only. And we're gonna do the same thing for Y. By the way, yeah, make sure it's for this sprite only. Okay. Oh, and by the way, we can hide some of these variables now. We don't really need to see speed X and speed Y. Or block grid
Wait,
X,
it's for
actually.
this sprite only.
Yep, for this sprite only. So block grid Y is also for this sprite only. And then just brace with me here. So each of the tiles is a 32 by 32 pixel thing, which is 32 steps in Scratch. So in order to find the tile number, we need to find the tile X and Y first. And in order to do that, we need to get the position. So that's going to be like X, and then we're going to divide it by 32, and then take the floor of it, which is like a mathematical function that rounds it down. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So set block grid X to 0, and then set block grid Y to 0. Except we're going to change 0 to grab out the abs of, ABS of in operators, and then we're going to change that ABS into floor. So floor just means rounding down. And then we're going to drag out a divide by for both the top and the bottom one. And we're going to divide by 32. So 32 in the second slot. And then we're going to simply drag in the X and Y from the parameters of the function. Make sure it's the pink one. Or, yeah, the pink one. From over here. Not the ones we had in the variables. Not the orange ones. The pink ones. That's important. Okay. So now we can actually find the position of our tile. So let's find that position over here, right before move camera X, or move player camera, sorry. In here, this time we're going to place in the actual orange X values inside the inputs. So that's basically, we're calling this get block XY. So,
Quick question. Did you do the floor of X inside the divide?
it should be outside the, or so, like, it should be floor of x like this, and then inside the floor of, we have the divide by.
So the x is in the divide by.
Yes, the x and 32 is in the divide by.
Oh, okay.
The order is important because we need to round when we after we divide, not before we divide, because x is definitely going to be an integer. And if this works, and let's show the block grid y and block grid x if you haven't already. And actually, we can hide the camera x and camera y as well. We got that all working now. So now, when we move our player around, the block grid x and y should change. So if I am on the grid number 1, which is at the very beginning over here, or sorry, block grid 0, then it should be right here, right? And then if I'm at 0, 0, this is like a coordinate plane, right? So if my guy is at 1, 1, which is over here, it would show 1, 1. If I move to the right 1 block, then it should show 2, 1. If I move up again, it should show 2, 2. So it's like a coordinate grid. So it shows us our position of the player. Now we're going to combine these values together to get one single value that describes the block. And that's going to be the block index. So let's make a new variable. Call it block index. Let's make it for this sprite only, just like always. So click OK after that. And we'll keep the block index up here.
Wait, is it for the spread only?
Uh, uh yes, yes. It is for this sprite only. And then we're going to set the new value, block index, to 0 in the define and get block. Right there. And then we're going to have this complex kind of thing where we're going to do addition and addition. And so we're going to add a few things. So grab our 2 addition operators. Place the first addition operator in the second one in the first slot, just like this. And then we're going to have a multiplication operator. You think of this?
Oh, it is.
So yeah, and then put the multiplication operator in the second one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into one number. So this is basically what we're going to do. We're going to call this block 1, and we're going to call this block 2, 3, 4, because that's how we tiled the block. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the block down here is going to be 13. So in order to do this kind of pattern, we have to add 1 to, so in the first slot, we're going to put 1. And yeah, just drag this into the block index real quick. And then the second slot, we're going to have to add in that y value. So that's going to be tile grid y. So drag in tile grid y for the second one. Where is tile grid y? Or sorry, block grid y. My bad. Block grid y. And then for the third one, we're going to have to do block grid x. And then we're going to have to multiply that by the grid width, the grid height. My bad. Grid height. In order to account for that, each kind of column has grid height number of items. Okay, so everyone, let's check that this is working by moving to the actual spots. So if we move our character to that one spot that I labeled, which is the very bottom left, it should say 1 for block index. And if we move up, it should count up, right? It should count up. And then let's move up down to the second column on the very bottom. That one should say 13. If your grid height is 12, that is. Wait, actually, is our grid height? Yeah, grid height is 12. Yeah. But yeah, so sorry, I had something going on. So now we're gonna create a new block, new variable, and we're gonna call it block. And then make sure it's for this sprite only. So make sure it's for this sprite only and click OK. Okay, and then once we have this, let's move out a set block right over here. Okay, so now the code we're gonna add into here is literally just gonna be the item something of block grid. And now that something is just simply going to be the block index because the block index literally corresponds with the position in the tile grid. So if we're moving around the block, what the block should show over here is the block type, which is a number. So if we're in the blank space, the air, it should show 2 because 2 is the air block. And then if we're on like this block over here, the border block, it should be 3 because we made that 3. And the other one should be, wait, it's 5 because, oh yeah, there was a spike at 4. So if that is working, then your block is working. Make sure it's item block index of block, not item number, item block index of block. Grid, that is. Okay. So now we're going to actually add collision to our game, right? We're going to actually be able to hit stuff. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the move player area and let's disconnect it from here. So right there for now, we're just doing that for now. And then let's duplicate that. Let's also split up this here, right? And then let's duplicate the get block at X, Y. So we get block right after we change X as well, right there. Okay. And then after that, we're going to have an if statement, which is going to be place both here and here after the get blocks. And then we can connect all the code after that. So we're going to have those two if statements. And then we're going to check simply if tile is greater than 2. If tile is greater than 2, that means it's a non-air block. So where's tile? Or sorry, block. If block is greater than 2. So if block is greater than 2, then we're going to do something. And that something is we're going to change X and Y, respectively, by what we changed it previously. So that it cancels it out. So change X and Y. We're going to move the Y here and then X here. So respectively, right? The X goes to the X and Y goes to the X. Oh, or sorry, Y goes to the Y, I mean. And then we're going to drag out a multiplication operator into both of these. And we're just going to multiply speed X by -1 and speed Y by -1. So do a -1 in the first slot for both of them, and then move speed X and speed Y. Both of them. Okay. So after all of this, should be working. So now you can actually hit the blocks. But the problem right now is, you see, you're hitting the blocks as if you're a tiny cube. So you have this geometry dash cube, right? But it's only hitting the center of the cube. You see that? We're only getting stopped by the center. And we'll fix that soon enough. But for now, it should all be working if you do hit the edges. And why don't we be able to show this easier by going into the costumes of the player and create a new costume? So paint a new costume. And then instead of a cube, why don't we do like this small little rectangle and make it like purely white or something with like a black outline or something. And then just draw a tiny rectangle right at the center. Wait, why is it? Oh, the fill is black. Whoops. I'm going to make the fill white and I'm going to make the border black. So I'm just going to make it a tiny rectangle right over here. Or actually maybe even smaller, Just a tiny little rectangle. And then on the screen, we can see that this tiny little rectangle, it actually works, right? It hits the edge of the block and it just stops moving when it hits that edge of the block right there. So that's what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to kind of stop it by making it, hit the edge of the wall. So now we can actually hit stuff and we're not just going through everything. So we can actually interact with the world now. So if that works, then, everything is working, which is great. You can go ahead and try to move around. Just make sure there are no special like bad things where it like teleports or something. Okay. Now what we're going to have is we're going to have another new variable. We're going to call it height. And then make it for this sprite only. Height for this sprite only. For this sprite only. For this sprite only. And then click OK. And then we'll have a new variable. We'll name it width. Also for this sprite only. Make sure you're in the player sprite, by the way. For this sprite only. For this sprite only. And then click OK. And then we can we can hide these. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the reset player kind of code over here. And then we're going to actually control the player's height and width so that we can make the player fatter so that it actually works. So let's set this new height variable and the new width variable to both to, let's do 14. Let's make it both 14, right? Or maybe not. Let me see how big the player is. Ooh, we can actually make it, I can actually make it 15. And then let's just move it into the reset player script. Um, right, right in oh whoops, right in here. Okay, and now let's just make this more organized by like creating a new block, and let's name it perform or like just like push back collision uh and then slash slash, and then we'll do like difference in x. So let's do dx, and then add an input dx, and then add a label difference in y, so dy, and then add an input dy. And then let's run this without screen refresh. And then once you're done, you can just click OK. And then we'll have our new block, which we'll set up soon. Okay, once you're done, we're just going to click OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify this code. So over here, we have all this code over here, right? We're just going to make it more concise by taking this part of the code out. So I'm going to detach the bottom two and then move these two out. And then I'm not going to fully close it yet, right? I'm going to put it over here, right? But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the change X and change Y. So I'm going to move it into one spot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out this change Y by speed X and move it back into where it belongs, and then delete these blocks. All right. Is everyone caught up here? Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually define this block by putting what we have inside the block, right? But now we have to change up, oh, whoops. Remove the speed x and speed y and replace it with difference of x dx and difference of y dy. Okay, nice. Now we're going to actually fix up the code now. So we're going to add the push-up collision, or sorry, push-back collision block into both of these where they originally were. So we're going to put it one right after the change x, and then one right after the change y. Okay? And then in the first one, we're going to put speed x. And then 0, because we're only changing the x. For the second one, we'll make the x 0, and then y, speed y, which is over here. So now, go ahead and click the flag and make sure everything's still working, because all we did basically was, I mean, we didn't really do anything that changed, anything. We just make the code more organized. So everything should still be working. So make sure it all works still. Make sure you can still hit the blocks. And then we're going to create a new block, a new my block. And then we're going to name it, what did we name the previous one? Pushback collision. We're going to name it pushback collision at point. And then slash slash dx, input dx, text dy, input dy. And then run without screen refresh. So similar thing, except we're adding at point. That's the important part. It's doing the exact same thing, but pushback collision at point. Then once you're done, click OK. Run without screen refresh. Hey. For now, what we're going to do here is we're going to drag out a get block. So drag out a get block and place it in that new block we just created. And then put dx and dy right there. Wait, actually, this is not going to be dx. I just thought about it. So let's edit the function again. We're going to actually be colliding at a specific point. So it's not going to be difference x. It's just going to be x. So remove that d we had by right-clicking it and then editing it from all these dx and dy values. And then click OK once you're done. So edit it, you just do that by right-clicking the top block and then clicking edit. So that was my bad, sorry. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to consider all sides of this kind of geometry dash cube shape. So what we're going to do is it's going to be a lot, but let's split up this part first. So go to the pushback collision at dx dy, and then disconnect that if statement. And then just, I guess, just get, wait, don't, I guess, remove the x and y and remove that block. And then we're going to remove this block, but we're going to keep the x and y. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do pushback collision at point. Make sure it's the one with at point. It's really important. At point. And don't put it back just yet, because we're going to duplicate this and duplicate it again. So we're going to have 3 of these blocks. For the first one, we're going to drag out a minus, and then we're going to also drag out a plus. So we're going to do y minus and then y plus for the first and final one. And then in here, since y is going to be the kind of height, it's going to go up and down. We're going to input the variable we created, which was called height. So y minus height and y plus height. Okay, wonderful. Now we're going to duplicate all three of these blocks, just like that, and move it below. And now we're going to drag out three minus signs. Minus, minus, minus. Like that. And then we're going to put it into this. So it's going to be x minus, and x minus. Just like that. So what this code does is it checks player collisions at all 9 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all 9 points. It's basically checking that to make sure we can actually have a hitbox. Okay. And then here, what we're going to do is we're going to make it minus that width, because x is associated with width. And we're almost done here, so just follow along just really quickly. We're going to duplicate these three blocks we just duplicated. So now we're going to have 9 blocks total that are like that. And then we can connect the if back. But now what do you think we're going to do? We're going to do plus. So instead of x minus width, we're going to do x plus width for the final 3. So go ahead and do that for the first one. And then after you're done with the first one, you can duplicate that plus and then just copy it over. Just like that. So we have the plus width for all of it. And then real quickly, we're just going to create this new variable called solid. Make sure it's for this sprite only. For this sprite only. That's really important. For this sprite only. And then click OK. So we have, and you can hide it immediately. We don't really care about that. And we're going to set solid to, where is solid? Right there. Or, whoops. Right there. We're going to set solid to 0 at the very top before all these push collision at point blocks. And then go ahead and move down to the very bottom with the pushback collision at point. Now we're going to actually code that. So we're going to have an if statement, and we're going to check if block is greater than 2, just like last time. And in here, we will set solid to, solid is basically how solid a block is, right? So in the future, we could make a different kind of solid. So let's just make it 10 for now. 10. So set solid to 10. And then up here in the pushback collision, the one with a bunch of blocks, we're going to change that into, we're going to change the block, remove that block part. Yeah, delete it. And then we are going to replace it with the new variable solid. And then we're going to check if it's greater than 0 instead of greater than 2. So change that 2 to 0. So now let's go into the costumes and let's change it back to the normal player. And I'll delete that dot. So now if everything is working, the collisions should be there now. You should hit the wall like you're a geometry dash tube, right? It should be working. Okay, so I see that we have some height issues where we can't fit through some spaces. But we'll fix that real quick. And then we'll be done, all right? Okay, so once you're all done with that code, we're just going to simply change the height here to 14 instead of 15. That 15 was a bit too big. Oh, 14 is also too big. Maybe 13. Let's try 13. I think 13. Does 14 work? Let me try out 14 one more time. we'll have to. Okay, 14 does not work. So yeah, let's just keep it at 13. Make the height and width both 13. Now you should be able to fit through gaps. Now you need to get lucky, so you got to click the flag a few times to spawn in the right place. But once you're in the right place, that meaning you're not inside a block, you should be able to move around. If you are inside a block, just click the flag again until it randomizes. So now collision all works. If it all works, then congrats. We finished this collision and movement and like camera panning, which is really impressive. And that'll be it for today. So good job. And you may leave now. But if you have a problem, you can go ahead and stay and just ask me about it. Okay. Chloe and Jasmine, are you two fine? Is the code working for you two?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Make sure to save your progress and then you can leave now.
Okay, bye.
Have
Thank
a great week. Bye. Okay, how about you, Chloe? Is everything working? Are you still there? Okay, I'm gonna assume you're done, all right? So I'm gonna stop and see you next time.